Well, thank you, Mayor, and good morning. I'm sure everybody's wondering what the Savannah Police Department's view is of this review. What I can tell you is we see this as an opportunity for two things, an opportunity for both education and consultation. We see it as an opportunity for us to continue to showcase the outstanding work the men and women of the Savannah Police Department continue to do. A couple of things that we need to keep in mind that we look forward to engaging the community members and the task force members in, and that is really showing how we are a nationally accredited agency and really highlighting why the Savannah Police Department is a nationally accredited agency through CALEA, the Commission for Accreditation of Law Enforcement Agencies. The Savannah Chatham Metropolitan Police / Savannah Police Department has been an accredited agency since the 90s. So this is not something that we started recently. And that basically means that, we get re-evaluated every 3 to 4 years, and we get accredited based on the fact that the department adheres to national best practices in the area of law enforcement. Not only are we a nationally accredited agency, but we're also one of the few agencies in the state that's a state accredited agency through the Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police. So we see this as a great opportunity for us to be able to educate members of our community on why our department is a national and a state accredited agency, but also known as an agency that's a leader in this area and a leader nationally in the area of community policing and relationship-based policing. But we also realize this is also an opportunity for us for consultation with members of the task force and members of our community to not only review our policies and procedures, but to have a healthy conversation about our policies and procedures. And we always look from an organizational perspective to see areas where we can continue to grow and improve. So we see this as a great opportunity in the area of education and consultation. I thank the mayor for taking the lead on this, and we look forward to engaging the members of our community and engaging the members of the task force.
Thank you, Chief. And let's be very clear, and I would be remiss if I did not indicate the presence of Pat Monahan, our city manager, and I want to thank him because under our form of government, this is very necessary that he is engaged and involved in this process. This is not, and I repeat, this is not an attack on the police department. This is an opportunity for us to hear and see and review through this current lens that we're facing in this very critical point in our history. I am pleased beyond what Chief Minter has said. We also fully comply with the 8 can't wait standards. And so this is an opportunity for us to, again, proactively ensure that we're hearing, and it's an opportunity for us to not only be educated, but also to educate the public. So we look very forward to this process, and we look very forward to the involvement of the community being involved in this. The other interesting thing that I need to say is that during this critical time, I receive a lot of complaints from people about police officers. And I will probably tell you that a little less than half of the complaints that I get about police officers are not about members of the Savannah Police Department. And so being a former law enforcement officer, when I started asking some more probing questions, who stopped you? Where did they stop you? What did their car look like? What kind of uniform did they have on? What does a ticket say? And then you get this, I thought because it was in Savannah, it's automatically the Savannah Police Department. So again, we have to educate people that there are a lot of departments in this area. They interact through mutual aid agreements. They have collegial relationships. Some have jurisdiction in areas that other folks don't. And I told someone, unless it was absolutely emergency, there's no way a Savannah police officer stopped you in Port Whitworth. But the person swore it down was a Savannah police officer. Come to find out, it was not. So again, we open ourselves up for the challenge. We open ourselves up for the dialogue. It's a very necessary, very timely dialogue that needs to happen. And so again, thank you, Chief Minter. Thank you, members of Savannah Cares, for helping us to begin that dialogue. So that ends my prepared remarks, and I'll answer any questions that you may have. Sean, go ahead.
Very well. Didn't know I was here. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do want to ask, first off, you mentioned public engagement, going out to the community, getting feedback from them. How will that be gathered and incorporated into future policies?
Sure. Let me go back. There are 4 components of this process. The first is to be able to review our current policies, and this will involve the task force hearing directly from Chief Mentor and his designees about what we're actually doing, what our policies actually say. Because sometimes, people just don't necessarily know. So this is an opportunity for us to explain our existing policies. For example, the Savannah Police Department, we don't have strangleholds. We do not, we ban strangleholds. So that's an opportunity again to educate. We don't chase. That's another thing. Some departments chase. We do not chase. We have a no chase policy, correct?
Correct.
Unless, right. So, so it's an opportunity to educate. So you have the review, then you have the engagement. And so this is an opportunity throughout the city, and the committee will determine how this happens. We didn't want politicians or law enforcement involved specifically, because we want people to be honest and open. And so they're going to ask, we'll create sessions across the city. We want it to be accessible to where people live. Of course, socially distant, and where people will be able to come in and share their experience, not their perception, share their experience. So there'll be opportunities in which they'll be asked some very specific questions about their experience. When did this happen? Where did it happen? Where were you treated? How were you treated? And so we'll create those opportunities. And again, we're not reviewing arrests. We're not making cases of fact one way or another about whether it should have happened, not happened. It was how you were treated, how the use of force policies were carried out. Then from there, we will then, from the reviewing and the engagement, we will then report. And that will be an initial report, initially to the city manager and to the chief about what the initial findings are, then to city council, then to the public. And included within that report will be some recommendations. I suspect that in consultation with the city manager and the police chief, some things we'll be able to do immediately, some things we might be able to do a little further on, and then some things may or may not be feasible for us to do. And then we will report that out, those reforms out to the community. So again, it's a very, very structured process. It's very narrowly defined. And again, we recognize that all of our police officers are not breaking the rules, and we want this as an opportunity also to highlight the many, many, many interactions we have with citizens every single day. And they come out well and better what people expected.
To that point, this is the last thing for me, but a new policy, a temporary one, albeit not necessarily long-term for the task force to consider, but the mask mandate goes into effect today. That's going to be one of the opportunities for police to engage the community, interact with the community. Can you talk about how that's being worked out?
Sure. And the chief can weigh in. I think we see it as an opportunity for community policing. Again, we will not issue a citation for which we didn't offer a mask. And so you'll see our police officers saying, hey, here's a mask. Here's an opportunity. The goal of this mask policy is not to be punitive. It is for protection. And so therefore, if we're able to help you comply, we're not charging you for a mask. Here is the mask. To me, that is a wonderful interaction of a police officer protecting and serving. And so we are making sure all of our officers have that. And again, it's a wonderful opportunity for our officers to engage with the community. It's also a wonderful opportunity for our officers, sometimes to be able to deal with some of the issues that, we all deal with them, where people are just going to do what they're going to do. And in those cases, of course, the consequences are what they are.
I have a question for both the mayor and the chief. First, Mayor, you talked how at the culmination of these findings, there will be one important recommendation, right? How often will force regularly meet, whether that's through Zoom or in person? Like, how often is there actual work in person or telecommuting, what have you? And then for the chief, how often will this task force be able to access the data that they're looking for to make these recommendations? How much of that data can they access, and what exactly is the timeline for when they're looking to turn that data into actual recommendations?
Well, for my end of it, the committee will determine how best to meet. We'll have an initial meeting, and then from there, the committee, based on their time and their schedule, will then work those issues out. Our role at that point is to help facilitate it and make it happen. Again, we have a very specific time frame that we're looking at, 90 to 100 days, and we're already in that by the time this process is expected to be completed. So again, this is not a task force for the purpose of task forcing. This is a very results-oriented a task force for the purpose of producing a result. And the result is a comprehensive report based on the empirical data, the data from the chief, and then the testimonial data that's gained from speaking with citizens. Chief.
Morning, Alex. From a organizational perspective, we want to make sure that they have access to what data they need whenever they need access to that data. One of the other things that we're looking at is last year we actually changed the software program that we use for our internal investigations and tracking and keeping statistical data. So we're in the process of being able to produce an annual report, and our goal with that annual report is on an annual basis to be able to post our annual internal affairs report on our website. So not only will it be accessible to the community members during this review time, it'll be accessible to all members of our community. Anyone who wants to go on our website at any particular point in time will be able to go into the website and see that annual report, which will have very valuable and significant statistical data in it.
And Mayor, another question.
Well, let me add to that. The other thing that when the chief talks about an accredited police department, I've been talking with cities across the country, many who do not have body cameras. Our police department is employed. How long we've had it? We had it before it became popular. And again, this is another opportunity for accountability. It's another opportunity for transparency. Our officers have very strict guidelines about when they're to engage them. And so again, I think that the city of Savannah and vis-a-vis the Savannah Police Department is ahead of the curve in that area. I'm sorry.
And in terms of the actual people, staff on the task force, was there a common factor that you were looking for, or certain demographics and certain communities and neighborhoods that you were looking for to get representation? I mean, what exactly was it about the people chosen, and why did you choose them?
Well, again, because this was a citywide, we enlisted the assistance of the city council. Each member of the council had one selection. The goal and hope was that the district alderman would pick a person from their district, so therefore every district in the city will be represented. The two at large could pick from anywhere in the city, and I believe we had everyone except maybe one that actually submitted. So I think of the 8 aldermen, I think we had 7 selections for those, and then as mayor, I selected several individuals, because of some familiarity they have with the process, some expertise they were able to bring to bear, some instructional or some professional knowledge of the subject matter, or some general interest in it. So I think what we have come up with is a microcosm of our community, people from all walks of life, from all over our city, that will be able to view this from their lens. And again, as the chief said, this is not only an opportunity for evaluation, but it's also an opportunity for the police department to help educate, so that these task force members become subject matter experts on the police and policies and procedures. And perhaps they could even help us to come up with better ways of reaching out. I think that Chief Minter, since his time here, has done a phenomenal job of reaching out and doing community groups and faith-based institutions, and then we have certainly supported him in that. And so I think that some of that will bear out, that we have a better relationship with our community than we have had. Good morning.
So Sean and Alex asked a lot of my questions.
Well, usually Sean is last, so we put him first, because usually y'all all ask Sean's questions.
There you go, lucky day. My question that we haven't touched on, I don't think, is we're trying to get input from the community. How do you plan on doing that while we're still fighting the pandemic? Is it Zoom, phone calls, or something like that?
Well, ideally, and the community has not spoken yet, but we have to recognize that we're still in the middle of a pandemic. So there will be a variety of ways of doing this. One way is Zoom, and I think we have to be very careful when we're asking for input to make sure that we are giving everybody an opportunity who wants to participate, an opportunity to participate. So obviously there are technology-based platforms such as Zoom to be able to do that. The other way is really in person. We have community centers across the community in which we can schedule individuals and help them to be socially distant so that they can give testimony to the task force. The other way could be by email or by postal mail, in which they can send that information to be considered by the task force. And then finally, of course, if they want to call and leave a message, we'll have that way to be able to do that. Again, our goal is to be everything to everybody, to be that way of people having the access, because we recognize there's still a digital divide in our community. Everybody can't necessarily get through, and we want to make sure that when the task force completes this report, it's from a comprehensive cross-section of our community.
My last question is for Chief. With the installation of this task force, do you expect your officers and people that respond to these calls, knowing that now they're under subject of review from ordinary Savannah citizens, do you expect them to act differently? And if, with that, in terms of accuracy, are they going to be acting differently because they know that they're under a slightly tighter microscope, so to speak?
I don't expect them to act any differently than they do on a daily basis, and they're professional and courteous, and they do an outstanding job on a daily basis. We are actually reviewed and assessed by the citizens on a daily basis. This is more of a concentrated review, but every day they go out there on the streets. They're actually being reviewed and they're being assessed by members of our community, and they continue to go out there every day and continue to do an outstanding job. And I don't expect them to do anything different than what they do on a daily basis.
Chief, I actually have just a couple of things for you. Sorry, Mr.
You fine.
The database, the empirical data, the software that you have to keep tabs on internal affair investigations and results that you mentioned that citizens will have access to, how specific will that get? I know nationally we've heard stories about departments that have dealt with officers that have had multiple incidents, multiple investigations against them, and the issue being that the public wasn't able to find out about it until a FOIA was submitted. So how specific will it get? Will it list specific officers and incidents?
It won't specifically name the officers, but it'll list specific incidents. It'll list the number of times we've used force. It'll list what type of force that we used. What we did last year, Sean, with the support and backing of the mayor and the council and the city manager, was we went out and bought what's identified as the top software program out there for internal affairs investigation and tracking, a program called IA Pro. And we implemented that in August of last year. And it's really much easier, and it gives a lot more accurate data and information than we've had in the past. It actually allows supervisors to begin their internal review while they're out on the street. They can actually pull the program up on their computers, or they can even use their phones to pull the program up and start initiating, putting that information in then. So we've got really good reviews from department members. We want to give it some time to at least get enough data in there so that we can put together a really good, accurate report. We'll hit the 1-year mark next month since we've had the program, and start putting data in there, and then we'll start putting together a report. So we're very proud of the fact that we were able to, with the backing and support of our elected officials and the city manager, to be able to purchase a program like this and to be able to use a program like this. So we're expecting big things out of it because we bought the best out there.
And just one more thing.
Sure.
With the emergency order going into effect today, how many masks will officers have with them while they're out on patrol on their beats? And will they have access or be able to go back to the precinct a bit more? How will that work? Advise they're handing them out to folks who aren't wearing them.
Well, great question, Sean. We're working on that right now. We went and picked up an initial supply of masks yesterday, about 5,000 masks we were able to pick up yesterday. Those were distributed last night and this morning to the precincts. So the officers are out there now, I believe, handing out the masks already. And then I believe we have another supply of masks coming in either tomorrow or Friday. Those will be in, and those will start being distributed as soon as they come in. And hopefully that'll be enough to get us through the weekend. But we'll continue to assess, our supply when we need them. We'll continue to order them and see when we can get them in, and continue to pass those out as long as we need to pass them out.
Thank
Do
you.
you need one, Sean?
Good this one. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we've ordered an additional 7,000. Again, our role here is not to be punitive. Our role here is to protect. And I'll just say it since everybody keeps asking about it. The science is clear. Savannah, yesterday after our press conference, had its highest level since the pandemic started. Highest number of infections, 211 in a single day. That was higher than when we had the stay-at-home order. And so for us, this creates an opportunity for us. We have to, if we do nothing, we continue to grow and in terms of the infections. The holiday weekend is coming up. A 3-day holiday weekend is coming up. It's hot as Hades outside. And the fact of the matter is that people are coming to visit us. We have to set a very clear expectation, and we have to be able to support our businesses in being able to refuse service from people who absolutely refuse to wear a mask, because people are coming from cities which masks are mandatory, and so we don't know what they're bringing into our city, and so we need them. And I think the other thing people don't understand, I've heard this from people who've called the office, and we've engaged some of them. It's my right not to wear a mask. Well, maybe it is, maybe it's not. But your mask does not. The woman told me, I'm well, I don't need to wear a mask. Well, first of all, you don't know that. Secondly, your mask protects someone else. It does not protect you. And so I think that's what we have to recognize, that your mask does very little to protect you. It's protecting others. And so it was almost divinely inspired that yesterday evening, the medical experts around the country were saying in unison that masks are the way to go. And so for us, we believe we're on the right side of this. And for this, we feel we're leading. And we feel that we are consistent with the governor's desires to keep our city and keep our state, by extension, safe by mandating these masks. Most of our interactions, and I'll just go ahead and ask, have been overwhelmingly positive. Many people who've been upset don't even live in Savannah. And that's the interesting thing. I mean, people, I'm really upset about this. Okay, well, where do you live? Effingham County. Okay, well, stay in Effingham County. I mean, we're okay with that. But people understand that this is something that we're doing because we have to do it, not something we're doing because we just want to inconvenience people. We're doing this because there is an absolute need in emergent circumstances that we take this drastic action. We cannot allow, and I'll be very clear, we have more of Team Savannah having infections, more police officers, and again, we have to be able to keep our folks safe. And so we've made it very clear, the city manager's made it clear, the police chief has made it clear, when you see a city of Savannah employee, they better be wearing a mask, except under those circumstances. If they're by themselves, that's a different situation, but we have to keep them safe. So.
I guess I have one last question. Sorry. Well, I was on
Since y'all went there, I just went ahead and, sorry, Nick.
just to piggyback off that, have you heard from Governor Kemp yet? They sent a letter yesterday. Any word on that?
No, I have not. No. I wouldn't expect to. Again, this is what he wants. This is why he's flying around the state in the coming days to encourage the use of masks because he understands what the science says. You know, people are trying to create some type of conflict or some type of adversarial relationship between the governor and I, or between the state and the city of Savannah. No, we're on the same team. We want folks to be safe. We want folks to wear masks. We want folks to social distance. We want folks to wash their hands. We want them to sanitize their hands. We want a safe and healthy Savannah. We want a safe and healthy Georgia. And so in that, we're consistent and we're together on that. And I support him on that.
Okay, I want the final word. I have a last question.
All right, you get the last question then.
Okay, last thing. So, you know, some of the agencies operate in Savannah and in some of the unincorporated areas like Chatham Area Transit, for example. Have you been in contact with Chairman Al-Assad about possibly putting that mandate in place throughout the county or anything like that?
No. Our order for the city of Savannah does not generally apply to other governmental or quasi-governmental agencies. So things like Savannah State or Armstrong, or Georgia Southern, you know, it doesn't apply to them on their campus. However, once their students leave, they need to have a mask on. It does not apply to the Chatham County courthouses. However, when they leave, they need to have a mask on. It does not apply to CAT, for example, but I believe they already require the use of masks on their buses to protect their drivers. So I have not been in contact with any other entity. Again, although we've been receiving calls from across the country about it, again, our role is singularly focused, laser focused, is to protect Savannah. We hope that other local entities recognize the necessity of following the science, the necessity of masks. And again, it's particularly concerning to us because we're not a monolith. You know, people who leave from Savannah and they go to Garden City, they go from Savannah to Tybee, they go from Savannah to Pooler, and people from those areas come into Savannah. So for us, it's an opportunity, hopefully, to lead. Hopefully, folks will follow suit, and people will see the need. But when they come into our city, they need to have on a mask. When they go home, they can do what they want to do. All right, we're good? All right, y'all take care of yourselves. Keep those masks on. Clean those cameras. And thank you. All right. Thank you. Please, Pan, and thank y'all so much again. We appreciate you all. I will come and shake your hands and all that stuff, but you understand, right? So when this